Hello, everyone. It's Michael 𝐔𝐒𝐀 with Unleashing Intuition Secrets, and I'm joined by the lovely Janine, Tarot by Janine, and also Tom Numbers, and we're going to talk about Friday the 13th. This is a lovely day to be talking about that, right? It's the only Friday the 13th this year, guys. What do you guys think?
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. Isn't that rare to only have one?
Usually there's three, so there's only one this year.
Uh-huh.
Is there? Okay. Friday the 13th.
Tom, I just want to comment that I saw your show with Juan savin, the latest one, and that was
At London Bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting. We'll talk a little bit about that because Janine likes to she doesn't like to be front loaded because she likes to keep it fresh. So when we ask the questions, she just taps in and then pulls it out. And I know you're very good with the numbers, and Juan even said, the baddies basically use the numbers quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think your work is
I'm not a baddie, I'm a goodie.
Exactly. You're the goodie. And, all of us being intuitives, we use our skills, different ways.
Yeah.
So it's very good that you're bringing in the information from your end, because that's one of the things they use a lot. And Janine, we know that they have their own tarot readers, and I know they have their own remote viewers and all this kind of, so it's good that we're showing everybody from our end, how you can use these different skills in a positive way. So we're going to look at Friday the 13th. So the history of it, if we go way back, Friday the 13th was before the patriarchal era. It was a divine feminine celebration. And it was always very, very positive. So I have a friend on Facebook that basically shared with me. She was born on Friday the 13th, and this is what it says. It was the day of the divine feminine. Friday the 13th was considered the day of the goddess. It was considered a day to worship the divine feminine that lives in us all, and to honor the cycles of creation, death, and rebirth. So that I thought that was very interesting, because we all know that Friday the 13th kind of stems back to Jacques de Molay, which was the Grand Templar, master of the Grand Templars, and the French king and the Pope at the time basically came down on them because they wanted their money. They didn't want to pay them anymore, so they were trying to steal their money, and they made him look like bad guys. And they burned Jacques de Molay. He was the last survivor, because they basically rounded up all the Templars throughout France in one fell swoop. Jacques de Molay was one of the last holdouts. They burned him at the stake, and before they burned him, he said, "You, Pope, will die within a year," and he died within a month, actually. "And you, French king, will die within a year," and he died within a year. So that's kind of Friday the 13th has been, since that day, kind of like a bad omen, bad luck day. So we'll look at those numbers. We'll look at how we're going to probably flip all this evil stuff that we've been, hearing, and all the negative manipulation. Now, from my perspective, I was there during that time frame. I haven't found that particular life yet, but I was told by a psychic that I was there because I had a real strong connection. I was like, "Was I Jacques de Molay?" He's like, "No, you weren't Jacques de Molay. You were there, and you took the Templar treasure to England." Now, the Templar treasure, the real treasure, was not the money. There was a negative guy that took the money to Switzerland. And you look at Switzerland, they have the Templar cross in Switzerland. And then the rest of us went with the real good stuff, which was the books and everything, the real treasure, and took it to England, hid it England. So let's look at what you guys see with Friday the 13th. I have a past life connection with Friday the 13th on that level, but I think that really it's a positive. We're going to flip all this negative stuff going forward and make it into a positive. We'll let ladies go first. So Janine, we'll see what you get.
I do get it, a divine feminine celebration in the past, because this is the past leading up to today. And these three are celebrating, and they're all women, and they're clinking glasses together. And generally this card is considered a joyous and like a divine feminine card, but if you get it when it's badly aspected, it can be about overuse of substance, etc. And this is my party substance card. You know, what I call party substance. And most people that watch me know what I'm talking about there, right? But that's only if it's backed up with the devil or the 7 of cups or something. Right now, it's not aspected that way. So now we're talking it in the pure sense. So what it was a divine feminine day. Okay. And then it got switched by this fellow's intention. So the guy that said he was telling these people they were going to be passing over really soon after. Okay. And he sort of cursed them. I feel like he was really good at foretelling. I feel like he was maybe a distance viewer or something, because he was intuitive, and he got that as a download is what I'm thinking. He got that as a download. And I feel like you knew him in that lifetime.
Yes.
So you had something to do with this guy that was burned at the stake. You weren't him though. He was a little younger. You were older and more well-known somehow. So I don't know who you were to him. I guess we can keep looking, but you had a bigger sort of position than he did, but you would have known him, and you guys were friendly together. According to this card, you might have even been siblings, but you had a position even more powerful than him. So maybe you had to keep quiet or not get politically involved in what they were doing to him. That's what I feel like.
That's interesting, because I know that I was Edward I. So Edward I, the King of England at that time, basically took the Templar stuff, and the King of France basically tried to make a deal with him, and it basically ended up being the start of the 100-Year War because of the bad stuff that the King of France was doing. So it's interesting, the time frames. I thought that I was actually a Knight Templar. Maybe I was as King Edward. I don't know. But that's very interesting. I never put that together. I thought I was like one of the Templars there with Jacques de Molay, but it sounds like maybe I was in a distant area. Wow, that's good. That's very interesting. So Tom, what do you have? What the numbers say?
So Friday the 13th comes to 223. Friday is 63. Always makes me think of the year of 63 with JFK. Also, the word 11, when you spell it, is 63. But the day Friday, Friday, is 63. There's 33. 13th is 127, which is the Ace of Spades, which is Magic November, Magic John. But that comes to 223. 223 comes to global currency reset. And next year, we're going into 2023. And one of the ways, well, the way that Juan likes to do the numbers is to drop the 0. So that would be 223. I looked at it another way. And if you do Friday the 13th, but this way you just do 13, so the number 13 and then the TH. So 13 or 13 plus TH comes to 41. 41 comes to King, it comes to Alien, it comes to USA, it comes to Good, it comes to Fun, it comes to my initials, TSB. Did a show, done a couple now with Bev Trout. She's a ufologist, really fascinating lady. Did that with Rachel, and we've also got one with a fantastic guest that will come out in a few days that you'll see. But the interesting thing about that is if you just do Friday the 13th, so Friday again is 63. The 13th with the 13 TH, the 13th comes to 74. 74 is Tarot. 74 is Gematria. 74 is Jesus. 74 is Messiah. 74 is English. 74 is London. 74 is the DeLorean. But if you do Friday the 13th, so 63 plus 74 comes to 137. 137 actually comes to the word 17th. It comes to Casino Royale. That's one that Juan likes to use. And it also comes to President JFK. And then if you add the two versions of that, so if you spell out the word Friday, the words Friday the 13th comes to 223, which is the first one. The second one is Friday the 13th, but with the number 13. That's 137. But you add those two together, it comes to 360. And it makes me think of a clear 360 degrees, clear vision. And if it's to do with the divine feminine and the ascension, then that makes sense that, the 360 degrees. I did want to ask a reading from Janine. So there's something that's happened here today on Friday the 13th here in England. And there's been a court case with two famous women, two footballers' wives. And I've got, one of them is wearing a boot, has famously been wearing a boot, like, the ankle boot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm feeling that is a positive com. I'm feeling that person wearing it is actually signaling for the good. And I wanted to ask Janine, because most people have been saying when you see one of those, it means that they've been busted and they're, having to kind of display it. But my feeling is that that's a reverse com, that she's actually going to lead to some truth. And I just wanted to ask Janine the question about that.
Interesting. Well, here's the past. So the person wearing the boot, I think, has definitely been involved somehow in what we call the dark cult, or some of those families, bloodline families, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is interesting when you said the reverse com. Well, the Wheel of Fortune does tend to flip things. And this is dysfunction. So it's flipping something, or it could even be destined at some kind of dysfunction that person's been involved in. Okay, because this could be all the yucky things they're up to. Okay, because they don't want you to know just how. I find that really interesting about the dark cult families. Like, the biggest thing is they don't want you to know their gross activities.
Okay.
That's their biggest fear, and this is a fear card. So the biggest fear of their stuff coming out, I feel like, and this card could be about timing. So it's just a matter of time. I asked, what was that, her wearing that, all about? Something's flipping. It's just a matter of time. And all their yucky stuff's coming. We're going to see it close up, personal.
Interesting, because the moon boot is 57 is Tesla, England, George, hello George, and boot is 52, which is Earth. So moon boot is Tesla, Earth, but that comes to 109, which is, if you spell the word 17, it's 109. Sight Club 109, Diana Spencer 109, Zapruder, as in the Zapruder film. And another way to say it is ankle, hang on, where are we? Medical boot. Medical boot comes to 99, comes to judgment, it comes to patriot, it comes to ascension. Jupiter as well. I don't know where Jupiter is in the zodiac right now in the astrology, but that's what ankle boot comes to 99.
Interesting.
So you think that she's going to have some kind of sway going forward in some aspect?
That's what it feels like. I looked and I've met both parties, not parties, but not at a party, but I've met both individuals at different times at events and football things. And my gut feeling is the one wearing the boot, I think somehow is going to reveal truth for the good. That's the feeling I got, but I don't know. It seems a bit too obvious, but maybe not too obvious to the public. It just seemed a bit too obvious for me, because I've seen those boots before, and I was like, that strikes me as a reverse. It's almost like once those on the good team kind of copy what the bad ones have been doing, because it's later in the day. That was my feeling, but I guess we'll see what the Wheel of Fortune brings.
Yeah, very interesting. So Juan also brought up two-ball cane. So if you look at 007, it's basically two-ball cane. So 007, I think that Ian Fleming was revealing a lot of information, and they did the heart attack machine on him. So he had a heart attack and died. But his work continues on. They still use his work and still carry that information forward. So I think that because we know that pretty much every group has been infiltrated. Like I talked about, the bad guys basically took the money and went to Switzerland, and the good guys came to England with all the real good information from the Templars. But we see, all of these groups seem to have been infiltrated, unfortunately, but there's still a very secret society that's keeping the good information. Is that the case Janine, do you still see good within these groups that seem to be infiltrated and corrupted? Because I know a lot of people say, oh, he's amazing. And I'm like, you know, I see there's obviously problems, but I think there's still some good there. What do we have? Are they just completely corrupted by now or what?
No, you're right. You're right. They've been in a lot of conflict, maybe, about it and come over to the good. It's what that says.
Hmm.
So that's interesting. I think your this card is right in the middle. So I think what you're saying is correct.
Nice.
I think you're on to it. And we've got the justice in the past. So possibly with this card here, because sometimes something's the way it is and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, that could mean they were brought into the families, like, and or the dark cult, as we like to call, at least I like to call it when we're on YouTube anyway. They were brought in and they didn't have a choice. So there could have been no choice in it. So then they were in conflict. So when they found out a way out, I think they took it, if that makes any sense.
It does, because I think they're going to be part of the reveal going forward and part of the justice that's coming, because they've infiltrated everyone. And I just saw a McAfee post on his what's that one site, Telegram. So there's a McAfee has a Telegram, you know, I don't think he's gone, but I was on a show with the gentleman. We're exposing a lot of stuff that McAfee has exposed. And he said that the stuff that we're exposing, he's a former police officer and stuff, and he's got all this information. He said that the stuff we're exposing on the show, YouTube show and Rumble and all that stuff, has basically led to a lot of people stepping down because of the reveal. So it's very good that we're having these reveals. You know, the three of us, I think we've all worked together in a lot of lifetimes to reveal and give out information like this. So doing this work has a very major impact on bringing down this corrupt system at this time. It's a very pivotal time in history. So it's very cool. What do the numbers show, Tom, as far as like, you know, the Masonic two-ball cane, and as far as justice, and what do we see in numbers with that?
James Bond comes to 83, which is interesting because the actor that plays James Bond currently is Daniel Craig, and that comes to 83 as well. So it's interesting that they, you know,
I think he's the best James Bond ever. He's good.
Yeah, I like
so they both come to that, you know. And Michael Gambon, the Dumbledore, I interviewed Michael from Harry Potter, and he's friends with Daniel, and he, you know, we had a nice little bit together ages ago, but on a video, and he was, you know, saying he says he's deeply handsome, meaning Daniel, and he's with Rachel, and he said, oh, it gets worse. And anyway, Michael's hilarious and a brilliant guy. One of your phrases actually that you mentioned just before that, Michael, that stood out to me was you said about the heart attack machine. And I didn't know that about Ian Fleming, but you said the heart attack machine. And so heart attack comes to 108, which comes to Twilight, comes to Fitzgerald. Shane Warne, the cricketer that passed, he had a heart attack, or supposedly, but his name comes to 108 as well. And me and Janine did a piece on him, being how he's working behind the scenes on things. And so Shane, if you're listening, buddy, we're putting a good word out for you. But the heart attack machine actually comes to 53, which comes to Janine, actually comes to Wheel, had the Wheel of Fortune. But the heart attack machine comes to 194. 194 is a really significant number because it's New York Hotel. It's also 1955, which is a time travel reference in the Back to the Future films. So there's some of the things that stood out to me. Let me look at Ian Fleming. I've done him before, but that's double M, isn't it, Michael? I think for Fleming. Is that right? FLEMMING, is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Let's have a look. And Ian. I spoke with actually Lara Logan. If you know Lara Logan from Fox, I've done shows with her, and she has a lot of knowledge on Ian Fleming, and James Bond, and she's got quite a lot of good information. FLEMING. So Fleming is 79, and then Ian. So IAN 24 79. Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, so Ian Fleming comes to 103, comes to September, comes to Princess, comes to Jack Kennedy. Yeah.
So that's good, because you're relating, the things that have gone on in the past, Jack Kennedy, Back to the Future, all these different things that, Juan talked about how these guys will take numbers and they're like in their heads, like, they have connections and all kind of crazy stuff. So I love that you're bringing out the gematria on this stuff for the good side, because you're helping people see these things in numbers, because they speak in numbers. Now, when I was in the military, I learned how to do coding, ciphers and stuff like that. So I look at things now and I have that mindset. So when I see some of the stuff they do, I'm like, they're coding. And you see it with, the mainstream media when they are all repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
Often those words are coded words to start something, to start an operation, to start maybe something bad. So that's and then we see something happen usually after that when they do the coding, the word coding. So that's very interesting that you're bringing that out and you're helping people see, because I want everyone to, because some people don't understand what you do, but it's very important what you do, and you're sharing that information is helping people start to think like that. So like I'm saying, I know how to think like that because I've been trained, but it takes a certain mindset. And like Janine, she's got the card. She's like asking, she's channeling that information through the cards, and boom, she has answers. And you're doing the same thing with gematria, and I do the same thing when I intuit and remote view and all that kind of stuff. So everyone has access in some way. It could be a different way than when we do it, but everyone has access to that. So I think a lot of people, when they see these shows, they're like, that rings true. And, and that's good. So you might not understand it, but you get something that rings true, which is, that's good. So keep tapping into that rings true. And you're going to start to, have these same types of abilities, maybe not like we do, but it's going to come through in some way that's going to relate to you.
Michael, do you remember, I mentioned this to Janine briefly. Do you remember the episode we did last? I think it was our last one together, or the three of us together. And we talked about Marie Antoinette. You said about let the meat cake.
Right.
So this is pretty fun. So there's a newspaper here, Daily Star in England. It's a tabloid newspaper. It's kind of the most kind of meme-ish and cartoony. So people don't really pay critical, kind of conscious attention to it, but it's putting the truth out in plain sight most of the time, I believe. And Daily Star comes to 109, which comes to 17. Now, just last week they showed this and they highlighted this this front cover, and I believe it's a reference to our episode about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So they said, "Let them eat brand cake." You see it there.
Yeah. So people will start to notice like that. That's good. That's a good example. When your consciousness starts to connect with something that's very good and positive, you start to bring that forward, and then other things like that will be signals. Basically, yes, you're on the right track. Yes, you're on the right track. So who knows whether they even heard our show, but you put the vibration out there and somebody picks it up, and then it repeats, and then you're like, oh, there it is. And then you're like, okay, we're on the right track. So that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
Let's have a look, Janine, at the cards. What did the cards say on that? Did they, was that a signal?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be fun.
Well, we've got a page and the sun. So I think they were having a little fun. So I think a yes on that, especially with the sun here. And the sun indicates maybe humor,
Yes.
childlike fun. I think they're having a little fun with us. I think they watch stuff like this. I do. Yeah. That's
Well,
funny.
you said, so Paige, this is interesting. So a little bit more to the story is, so it was a double con because the day, here, let me show this again. So you see here, Michael and Janine, see in the bottom corner, there's a guy called Matt Letitia. So he's the soccer player that's a truther here, and I've been doing episodes with him and talking about UFOs. And so we've got something coming out soon involving him and also Bev, who is the ufologist. And I'll show you the picture here. So this was on the inside. And there's Matt. So that's the story. So talking about how he's open to the possibility of UFOs. And me and Rachel did an episode with Bev literally just the day before this article came out. And then we broadcast it later that day. Wow. And then this third part to it is here. So this is the same article, but you'll notice, so the Bev is the ufologist. See, so there's Matt, that's his article. And then what's the name of the lady at the bottom? Bev, B-E-V, which comes to 29, which comes to Paige. And you just said we had a page, Janine. So, and sun, S-U-N, was it S-U-N, the sun as in, you know, the...
Yeah.
S-U-N, sun comes to love. So it was like love Bev. Well, you know, I think that there's another com on that. But also it comes to 83, which comes to James Bond, which comes to Daniel Craig. And we just did that just 5 minutes ago. So wow, I think they are having fun, you know. I think they are. Yeah. Yeah,
there's some very high level people that watch us. I've been informed. So that's good. All of us. So the three of us. So it's very cool. Separately, you know, so us together is probably a real treat for them. So May 15th. So I have something coming May 15th. I got the heebie-jeebies when I was in combat zones. I would get like, oh, something's coming. I got that big right now. So I saw that May 15th is some kind of day. And I don't know yet. It's sometimes these things aren't revealed because they have to transpire the way they're going to transpire and inform humanity the way they're going to form it. So my thought is maybe, like you just said, UFO. So there might be that little thing they're going to play on us. So who knows? Something's coming.
Well, that's a Sunday, Michael, isn't it? That's in 2 days' time, yeah?
Yeah.
May 15th. So the word Sunday is 84, which comes to is an alien. Arizona comes to 84 as well, but we had quite a bit of fun with that phrase, is an alien 84. So it's Sunday. And also the other thing with that is May 15th. 15th is 93, Flotus, Nazareth, Kingship. It's an important number for 93 for Rachel. Bev, the ufologist, she's age 93, and that's quite a big thing I noticed because 93 comes to Bushnell. May is 39, so it's the mirror image of 93.
Right.
39 is also Big Ben, it's angel, and the word 10, the number 10, TEN, is also, that's like a 5-5, a loud, clear signal. So it's interesting you're getting your kind of spidey sense on it. But May 15th comes to 132, comes to JFK, JR is alive, comes to Princess Diana. Diana is 29, Paige is 29, Bev is 29. I don't know, who knows? But if you're feeling something maybe around the UFOs, it's interesting because I didn't know you were going to bring up May 15th, but it has a lot of parallels with the numbers we just did just prior and the pulling of the card that Janine did. So let's see what comes.
So I get a really big, this is judgment. So this is a wake up call kind of card. Notice how these guys are being woken up by this trumpeter from heaven. Okay. Interesting.
I love this card, Janine. This is a great card. Yeah.
We've got that cross. Okay. And isn't that the Knights Templar kind of style.
Yeah, and it's the English flag. It's the flag of, it's the St. George's flag. So
Wow.
it's the national flag for England.
They're being woken up. So something's happening maybe around England, right? And we've got the sun, but it's positive for humanity. So there's some big thing happens around a woman,
Oh,
Ooh, the
but
queen.
it's positive for humanity.
oh,
This is the Pentacle Queen. So she's an earth sign.
Interesting.
oh.
Very interesting.
Lizzie's a Taurus, or they present her like a Taurus.
Huh.
I mean, personally, I think she's not been. So something about news of death. Okay, I wonder if we're going to hear about somebody's passing over in the UK who's a powerful woman. And I'm not assuming it's Lizzie, but I don't know, right? It's interesting.
London
Wow.
bridges falling down.
Now, this does indicate that it's something we've been waiting for a long time. And this also indicates that it likely happened a long time ago. We just haven't heard about it.
Huh.
So I don't know. It's looking pretty interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Wow.
Good stuff. Yeah, let's hope that that's kind of where we're moving. I think that the McAfee was basically that things are going to be revealed, and so we'll see. So he has a countdown. He's on his site. He says May 15th, 6 p.m. Now I don't know where that is. I don't know if it's your time in England maybe, or if it's here on the East Coast or wherever that is. But that's very interesting.
Huh. That is interesting.
Yeah.
So 6 p.m. And I guess it just says it's the number 6, is it, Michael, on the...
Yeah, it says May 15th and then 6 p.m.
That's interesting, because 6 p.m. PM is 29 again, which is Paige, which is Diana, which is Bev, B-E-V. Is also the word on. It's also the abbreviation for August, AUG. But PM 29 plus the 6 takes you to 35. Makes me think of 35, President 35. But May 13th, sorry, May 15th is the 132. So add the 132. That takes you to 167. And it was the 167th day of the year that President Trump came down the escalators with Melania. So I don't know if there's a signal for maybe a completion or a beginning again of something. 162nd day of the year. The other thing as well, 167 comes to the New Yorker. I've mentioned that already, the Tesla Hotel. I think King of the World is 167 as well. So that could be interesting. King of the World, Queen of the World. I don't. Let's see. Interesting. You getting any more on that, Janine? On 6 p.m.
Yeah, I got something hidden gets revealed for sure with this card.
Okay.
And then I got the Queen of Wands, and she's really revealing, but it's something really devious gets revealed. So this guy covers up, and this is a really dysfunctional, devious card, and emotionally and mucky, and people won't want to hear about it. This is stuff like you want to keep that hidden if you're a part of it, right? So whatever's going on, I feel like a reveals in order anyway, one way or the other, like you're saying, and some really mucky stuff comes up. That's been happening a lot lately. Like we've been seeing big reveal drops,
Like daily almost. Yeah, it's crazy the way things are going right now. It's like you could like predict that almost any day of the week these days. All right, so the next thing is on crypto. So Juan also said on crypto that there is crypto out there that is encoded that when used will unlock information on the baddies. And so we just saw in the last couple of days, the baddies basically attacked one of the major crypto coins, Terra Luna, and basically took down all the it was the 6th most highest. It was like $20 billion They basically came in and bought a bunch of it and tricked the guy that owned the things. Like, hey, we're like want to buy some under the table, and you know, with Bitcoin, we're going to give you a deal. And so they'd already bought a bunch of it. And once the guy said, okay, then they crashed it. They crashed that coin, and it sent crypto into a tailspin. Now, I believe that crypto is going to be part of the QFS quantum financial system. Quantum being that it's like fifth dimensional consciousness. No one can come in and use that in a negative way. It will be known right away. You won't be, it just won't be able, it can't be done. So I think that crypto eventually evolves to that, probably not in its current form, but will be something that goes in that direction. So is Juan right? Is there some kind of game going on with crypto as far as, like, you know, because we've seen these guys, you know, McAfee said, I have a condo in this one Florida hotel, or Florida condominium, high-rise condominium, and it's got information on the baddies, and they dropped those condos into their footprint. I talk about that. I'm not going to go into detail about that here. But once Juan said that, it was like during that time frame, they came in and hammered this cryptocurrency and destroyed it. Wow. So is there a crypto out there that's going to be used to unlock, maybe May 15th, who knows, but is it going to be used to unlock some information?
Well, I got this shocking revealing card. It can be having an awareness. You can be like, because it's really well aspected with the King of Wands. So it's not usually about devastation when it's so well aspected. It's more about having your mind blown with information. So you could have a huge quantum leap with this card when it comes. It's almost like all of a sudden you go from not knowing anything to you got it all, kind of that kind of card. And then this card here, we've got, that's Mr. T in the white hats, I call it.
The rock and roll band.
Questions like this. Yeah, the rock and roll band, right? So he must have something to do with deciding, or even like, or his, maybe the white hats, right? Maybe the alliance, the white hats have something to do with the cryptos that I think do make it. But I think with this crash, this kind of card could indicate also some of them crash and some of them get way better. So some of them are going to go forward and you're going to make a lot of money on them, and others are going to maybe go the way of end up not being used. So I've been getting that for a long time. Yep. I don't know if that answers exactly your question, though.
Well, that definitely answered, because I know you've been on this for a while too, like I have been, and you and Jean-Claude have done some great shows on this. But yeah, the crypto, some of it won't go forward, and you've said that. I've said that, and we just got an example of how some of it's not going to, and one of the major ones just got taken down. So that was very interesting. Yeah, I think that the reveal are going to be, like you said, Janine, it's going to be like tremendous. All the reveals that are coming. I've seen some stuff and I'm like, no way, that's incredible. So I think that's what's coming. So what do you get on that, Tom, as far as like crypto and all the numbers? What's the numbers say on the crypto stuff?
So I think, again, I agree. I think the crypto is going to be, you know, one of the things moving forward. And going back to the very first code that we did, Friday the 13th comes to 223, comes to global currency reset. So it's interesting that we're on Friday the 13th today, and you mentioned that that's happened this week in the markets. But one thing that's come to mind, and I just wanted to check, is just the previous question. Janine, you were talking about like a female figure with this reveal. Michael's feeling there's going to be something on the 15th. Can we ask you, has Ghislaine Maxwell got anything to do with that? Is she maybe the woman involved?
I'm getting information on her, but I'm not getting, yes, she's the woman that we were talking about. Okay, so
Okay.
I get she's somewhere different than they're saying she is.
Okay.
She's not in any kind of comfort, so she's in discomfort. So I know some people believe she, because of her wealth and connections, that she's being treated well and she's not in the prison that they say she is, et cetera, et cetera. I don't get that to be true. I get she's actually in worse shape than they're saying. She's in a
Okay.
worse situation, and she's about to give even more information. So this card's secret deals and handshakes in the background. I feel like she's just about, because this is just about to, and then what happens next. So I feel like she's been withholding something and she's about to she's trying to get more comfort. So she's about to give even more information than she's already given, which is quite interesting. So I don't think anything to do with the trial was actually, I think that was part of the movie. I think the real
Okay.
situation is going on completely a different place, and none of the real stuff came out in the trial. But but I'm not getting that she's the one that's going to be in leaving the earth plane or have some big reveal about. No, I'm not necessarily getting. I think that's somebody else.
Could it be Hillary? Did we get any information on that?
So everything you hear and see, whenever you see Hillary, it's not real. Of course, we knew that. She was rounded up by the good military some time ago, it looks like. And a lot of, even her posts in social media are all just somebody else is posting on her behalf.
Hmm.
6 and no, it looks like a lot of what we know about Hillary, it feels like, at least this community, we already know she was dealt with, or at least I feel like I know. And I feel like that is true. And we might hear some, you know, like there may be some things, but it's nothing as big as what we were seeing coming out about this other woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hillary, you might remember that one time she was at the 9/11 memorial and they showed her getting in a van. She like collapsed. So Hillary was one of my targets for a year. So all the people that I worked on within a year time frame basically were taken off. And so I believe that she was taken then. I don't see her anymore. When I look for her, she's been gone since that time. I think she was rounded up and dealt with. So that's interesting. Same thing with the Queen. I don't see or feel the Queen anymore. So I think they're going to like reveal at some point that, oh, she's just passed or whatever. But I think she's been gone for a while. And so, but we'll see. You know, maybe I think the people that have been posing as her, when we look at like the Hillarys that are, they're shorter, they're younger looking. It doesn't look like her. Just like Joe Biden doesn't look like him. He's gone. So there's a lot of people that are gone that maybe that's one of the things that gets revealed, the massive reveal when they do start to happen. And it accelerates the collapse of the baddies. So that's something I think that's coming. I think we still have a way to go. I know a lot of people are seeing things are going to like turn around soon. I think there's still a little bit of distance we have to go through. And I think Juan said the same thing. It's going to get a lot worse, unfortunately, I believe. So even if things get revealed, like we're talking about on the 15th, whether that is something that's going to be a reveal, which like we talked about, there's so many reveals going on now. It's like any day is a reveal at this point. So will it be that final thing, or we're going to like maybe see a list of all the people that went to Epstein Island, who the client list is? That would be like, I mean, So both of Ghislaine and Epstein have been convicted. Both of them, and both of them are still alive. But one of them supposedly is gone. And so he was convicted of all these crimes against, young women and Ghislaine Maxwell and everything. So why haven't, and this is something that Elon even brought up. He says, why hasn't anyone been convicted yet for, having been part of this client list? I think something like that, when it comes out, is going to be massive, because we've already seen, some people like, skate around this. Oh, I was there, and I used to hang out with them, but I wasn't involved. So Janine, what do you see, and what do the cards reveal as far as that client list? Is that client list about to be revealed? I am getting that. It's close, I think. That would destroy the baddies.
So this would be like a reveal card, because this is thing. You come through a gateway and there's celebration. And I think this community and this card here is being sped up. Okay, and moves being made that are risky. So I feel like this would be risky just yet. They want to do that. It's risky. Okay, and they're being really careful about. There's still something to do first, or some people to round up or make sure there's still some. These are the real baddie cards. Okay, these are like the head of the baddie kind of cards. There must be still some of those at large. Okay, because I feel like they don't want to do that until maybe they've got them ready to be grabbed, is what I'm thinking. So I feel like it's a work in progress, and the idea is they want to do that, but they still thinking it's a bit risky just right this minute. So this card was in the middle. They're waiting for the right time. And they're not going to tell anybody when that is, obviously.
Nice. And if I knew, I wouldn't say either. So, because I know it's because once it's revealed, they're going to scatter like cockroaches. So we want to like round them up before they get away. And I think that's what.
Would they not already have them? Like, because we had the lockdowns, and I was thinking, well, that was. There was rescues, but I thought there was a lot of rounding up at that point as well. So would they not have a lot of these main ones already done, and we're just seeing doubles or clones of them?
I believe so, and I'm constantly pointing it out. Yeah.
Let's have
a look. Yeah.
Just see a percentage. See what I get.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. Good, Janine.
That's good. I was thinking of a percent a few minutes ago. That's good, Janine. Well done.
Okay, so we're 80% rounded.
Wow.
That's good. There's still a few at large, though, that could even be off planet and or hiding out somewhere that's really hard to get to. So that's interesting. Yeah, and they did a lot of the hardest work was already done. A lot of the hardest work about who's actually rounded up and who isn't, I think we already know. So if you look around at what the community is posting and what even Real Raw News, I feel like we actually have a really good handle on who's rounded up and who isn't. I think we used to see lists go around, and I used to get that as wish lists. Now I get most of it's true now. So they've caught up to those wish lists, or they could have even been put in place. Time travel. I mean, Ashley and I did a time travel show today on Deep Dive Fridays, and the good guys have been using time travel to go ahead and undermine what the bad guys had planned. So they might even know already. So that's why it's such a movie. Things have already happened in the future. Then they came back. They dropped some comms about it for us to figure out. Like, all of this it sounds really confusing, but I feel like they're playing around with timelines like that. Okay, so it's already out there who's been rounded up, who hasn't, but there's some that I think might have even got away, like off planet away, like, or somehow in hiding away, got themselves safe somewhere. So I think there's still a percentage, and we have a 2 and an 8. So that feels like maybe 20% still out there at large that they're going to need to do a big roundup with, and or find out where they are, get them pinned down. And then the other was an 8, so 80% rounded up. I think we're a good ways there, but we're not all the way there.
Janine, when you say that some of them have hid and fled maybe off-world, could it have been that some of them have gone into different time dimensions and used time travel, and then goodies have had to go and get them?
So I can tell you that I have memories that come through for the space program, and yes, so I've been involved in actually chasing a lot of those guys down and changing their timelines.
Yeah. So this is a really unique approach, which would make sense to what you're saying. That's pretty unique, right? And to discover where they're hiding. So the feeling I was getting when I was looking at those cards was they already know everyone's rounded up. Like they know the ending because they've been to the future and they know the ending. And I think that's why they can put words out there like, we know everything, and the best is
nothing
yet.
Can stop. Nothing can stop.
All of those sayings that they say that sound like oneness, but we're still actually in the fight. But they've gone ahead and they know the future and they know we've won. This is the feeling I'm getting is happening.
Is it possible? So Back to the Future is one of my favorite films. I bring it up a lot, but it's really fascinating. You and Ashley have done a deep dive on time travel. Yeah. So 88 MPH is 125 time travel, John Kennedy. That's why I haven't got it on today, but that's why I wear the T-shirt. But in the Back to the Future movies, there's Emmett Brown and there's Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, and there's versions of them which I would consider kind of the protagonist version, i.e. Michael, you, me, the audience, kind of here and now. But then there are future versions of themselves that are aware of the other one. So my question is, are there other versions of ourselves that haven't revealed themselves to us yet, but are aware of what we're doing now in this timeline?
What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I don't want to front load this, but yeah, I've had a portion of myself come back to me and talk and tell me everything's going to be okay. I was like, what? And it was like me right now in like this spacesuit looking thing that came to me when I was like 14 and said, and it came through like a portal type thing. And I was like doing putt-putt with my friends, and I'm like looking at this, I'm like, whoa. So everything's going to be okay. And it was telepathic, and then went whoop back out. And I looked around, no, I was like, hey, none of my friends saw that.
What's that?
As time went on, I went through some difficulties as a young teenager.
Our future selves,
like
our more evolved, advanced, and we've already been through this selves coming back and helping us because they knew how hard this was going to be for everybody. So yeah, I'm thinking absolutely.
Cool. So Janine, one last
sorry
question.
Michael, what was putt-putt? You said about when you were 14 and you were putt-putt. I don't know what putt-putt is.
You don't know that? It's like golfing. It's like you're just hitting
like pitch and putt. And putt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Janine, the last question, and this kind of might relate to all of us, but I think between you and I, because I thought we did a show together, and you asked, I think I'm part of your soul group, because I was talking about soul groups, and there's like when we're initially born as souls, we come in as a family. So there's a soul family, and it's usually anywhere from 10 to like 15 souls that come in. And then from that point on, throughout time, you're working together, and sometimes you cross paths, sometimes you don't. But you know, one of those, a couple of those actually, is Trump is part of my immediate soul family. Alexander the Great, who's been Caesar, who's been, you know, Achilles and so forth, was also part of my soul family. And I think, Janine, because you said it, because I was going to ask you one time, and when you said, Michael, I think I'm part of your immediate soul family, I was like, you hit it. So let's see if the cards say that. That'll be kind of interesting, because I think this will be good for everyone to see. There's a much larger aspect to all of us than, you know, just this one time we're done. It's like you gotta know there's more.
I'm thinking yes again. Pages can be yeses. They're holding an ace. So the page holding an ace, and we've got the Empress here, which could be like bringing the divine feminine, or bringing up the divine feminine. And I'm going to be this might be a stretch in it here, but I'm thinking maybe all three of us.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as soon as I get a chance to do shows, like I was super busy this week, and I wasn't doing shows with anybody. I've been weeding out because I'm going away on a trip. But when I got a chance to do it with the two of you, it's like, yeah, there's just certain energies that you go, yeah, unconsciously, you just know you're safe with, and you're going to work with, or you should work with. I feel like that's an indicator. And I think I'm bringing up this lifetime anyway, the divine feminine. I think you guys are bringing me the divine masculine. I think it's, you know, I think that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's very cool. What's the number say on that, Tom?
So this is interesting. Talking of Back to the Future again. So so soul is 67, which is reset, which is exchange, which is also water. Family is 66, which is actually woman, which is event, happy. So add those together is 133. But then if you add the word my, so my soul family, my is 38, which is balance, which is gold. But that comes to 171. And 171 comes to a bolt of lightning in Back to the Future. And Doc Brown mentions it twice. He says, we need a power source. You know, what can we do? Because we're stuck in the past in 1955, which is 194. And he says, a bolt of lightning. And then he repeats it. He says, what? A bolt of lightning. But that's 171, which is my soul family. So that could make sense. You know, if we can keep doing these missions throughout time, it's like, okay, boop, boop, we've landed, yeah. You know, and then we kind of reconvene at a spiritual, conscious, physical time and location, you know, that we kind of discover along the way. And then here we are, you know. So, and also the revaluation is 171. So 171 is a super powerful number, and there's also an overlap. So it's 171, so it's 17 and 71. 71 is smart, 71 is psych, 71 is Lady Diana, but you add 17, which is Q, plus 71, that actually comes to 88 Trump, which comes to download, comes to vision. So it comes to a lot of important numbers and words on the board. But yeah, 171, my soul family. So I didn't know that. I didn't know what my soul family was, but I do now. So
wow, cool. Yeah. So you're in good. We're all in good company here. I love it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. And you know, it's always a pleasure. You know, I would always, you know, do a show with you guys, and it's always fun.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, and look forward to doing more with you guys in the future. Thanks for everybody that came in. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Janine.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.